Hello, my name is Uwezike Abiam Nuabian, and today I'll be informing you about three different theories of black psychology, as well as things that may cause blacks to face the things they face in this day and age. The first theory that we'll be talking about today will be self-attributes and identity. Self-attributes are characteristics of oneself. For example, one could be friendly, one could be outgoing, and also one could be kind. Self-identity is what a person identifies themselves as. This identity is what you think of yourself as a separate individual. Self-esteem, self-worth. As many may know, people in the African American community has endured a great deal of hardship. For example, during slavery, the way blacks were treated was very dehumanizing. Being called by numbers instead of their names and being beaten, those are great examples. Oppression in African Americans could be the effect that the environments they live in have on them. The second theory we'll be talking about will be race and racism. According to the Webster Dictionary, race can be defined as a category of humankind that shares certain distinctive physical traits. Race is also the makeup of a person's visual characteristics. Racism is the belief that all members of each race possesses characteristics or abilities specific to that race, or to believe that one race is superior to another. From personal experience, I have heard people say that all black people are related or we all look alike because we have big noses and mouths. A thing that I can relate this to is I used to work at the Carolina Country Club, and the majority of the people that were members of the country club were white people, and they didn't care if they did racial slurs or they made racial jokes. They didn't care about who was around, and that was very offensive. And I feel as if one can do that, they think that they are better than us. And when I say us, I mean the African American race. Symbolic racism is the belief that whites do not think racial discrimination is a problem in this society, but African Americans are not successful because they have not worked as hard. This form of racism could be hurtful to our youth because they may feel inferior to white children due to the color of their skin. In the school system, if a black child works just as hard as a white child, they should be given the same opportunity. For example, in high school, I was so fortunate to be in AP English, and the majority of the class were white students and Asian students, and there was roughly 3 black people in that class. And whenever it was time to get in groups and do assignments, we were always put together in a group, the 3 black kids that were in the class, instead of being paired with anybody else. And that really was hurtful because I felt as if we were not capable, or we didn't, or others didn't think we were capable to work with others due to our race. The third theory we'll be talking about will be neighborhoods and communities. Corporate America has made it more difficult for people of the African American communities to gain employment. For example, having few career fairs in their environments, as well as moving employment offices, blacks should be able to easily access career assistance offices just as any other race. Equal job opportunities should be located in an area that everyone can reach. Many people will say that some blacks are poor and struggling to make ends meet because of their own inadequacies. Take a look back at Hurricane Katrina. This natural disaster wiped out New Orleans. This storm was out of everyone's control. However, there are still lower class blacks who are suffering because they never found their way back to stability after this traumatic event. This last page, this is my reference page. And for my questions, I thought of 2 questions per theory. The first question is, what do you believe is the root of self-esteem issues throughout African American youth? My second question is, what are some things one can do to uplift themselves from having bad self-esteem? My third question is, in this day and age, what type of racism do you see within the school system? My fourth question is, do you think racism causes insecurity within some African Americans? If so, why? My fifth question is, what are some things that separate a poor area from a more wealthier environment? Last but not least, my final question is, why do the government allow air pollution projects to occur in poor areas rather than more wealthier areas? Once again, my name is Uwezke Abiam Nwabiam. Thank you.